I've recently started fishing, and over the past few months, we have got few rods. One for me, one for my son, and one for my wife. The problem is, I didn't have a good way to store them. Since I already have a pegboard installed in my garage, I wanted to use that instead of drilling more holes into the wall. So, in this video, I'll design a completely custom fishing rod holder in Tinkercad, 3D printed, and see if it actually works. Let's get started. Before starting this project, I had some preferences. First, I wanted to use my existing pegboard. Second, I didn't want to store the rods horizontally. It's usually inconvenient to take out and put them back if they are horizontally placed, so I decided to put the rods vertically. I searched MakerWorld, hoping someone had already designed exactly what I needed. There are some really nice fishing rod holders available, but I couldn't find one that was specifically designed for a pegboard and matched my setup. So, it was time to design my own. My first idea was actually pretty simple. I designed a hook that would let the fishing rod hang vertically. But after looking at my garage setup, I noticed another problem. My pegboard is mounted fairly high on the wall. That means there isn't enough space above it to fit the entire fishing rod. So even though the holder worked, my garage layout didn't. That's when I asked myself one simple question. What if I store the rods upside down? This will ensure my rods are not scratching my ceiling and are placed comfortably on this wall. I need to create a completely new design if I want to hold the rods upside down. I'm designing everything in Tinkercad. Instead of making one large, complicated holder, I decided to split the design into two separate parts. The first part supports the handle of the fishing rod. The second part simply guides the upper section of the rod and keeps everything aligned. Let's start with the main holder. Since the rod is upside down, the handle becomes the part carrying the weight. So I need a groove that supports the handle while still allowing the thinner rod blank above it to slide in and out easily. To create this shape, I'm using Tinkercad's Revolve tool. I'm leaving about a 90-degree opening. This makes it easy to insert and remove the rod while still giving the handle plenty of support. Now I need a way to attach this holder to my pegboard. For that, I'm using the bend shape in Tinkercad. I'll create one bend, then a second, third, and finally the fourth bend to form the peg hook. After that, I simply duplicate it, mirror it, and position both the pegs exactly one peg spacing apart. Align the holding groove with this hook. And with that, the first part is complete. Now let's design the second part. This piece is much simpler. Its job is simply to guide the rod to exactly hang vertically down and not tilt. The problem is, if I hang the rod upside down and the reel is on the right side, the weight of the reel will naturally rotate the rod toward the left. And if the reel is on the left, the rod rotates toward the right. We need kind of a support to stop this movement. To design it, I'll simply copy the peg hook section and reuse it. And then, I'm using a very similar groove to the first holder. But this time, I rotate the groove so that it provides more support on the side where the rod wants to lean. That gives the rod a stable resting position while still making it easy to remove. And with that, both parts of the design are finished. Now, it's time to print. The most important part of this design is actually the pegboard hooks. Every time we insert or remove the holder, these hooks experience bending forces, so I want them to be as strong as possible. For this print, I'm using PETG. It's stronger than PLA for this type of application because it's more flexible and handles repeated stress much better. For the print settings, I'm using 100% sparse infill for the pegboard adapter, 6 wall loops, support enabled where needed. Once everything is sliced, let's send it to the printer. The print is finished. Let's install it. I'll place the main holder at a comfortable height on the pegboard. Now, let's turn the fishing rod upside down. The handle drops nicely into the groove, but as expected, the rod immediately starts leaning toward the left. That's because the reel carries most of the weight, and that's exactly why we designed the second piece. I'll install the upper guide directly below using the same pegboard holes. Now I'll guide the upper section of the rod into the groove. And that's it. The rod is now hanging vertically. It's secure, easy to remove, easy to put back, and it only uses 2 small 3D printed parts. Exactly what I wanted. I'm really happy with how this project turned out. I am able to reuse my garage, my pegboard to store the fishing rods with a very simple design. If you'd like to print one for yourself, I'll upload the model once I finish testing it for a while. Thanks for watching.